The South China Sea has once again become the epicenter of geopolitical tension. This time, Chinese warships were reported shadowing U.S. and allied naval forces as they staged large-scale drills near Scarborough Shoal, a contested maritime feature claimed by both China and the Philippines. For Washington and its allies, these drills are about asserting freedom of navigation and sending a strong signal to Beijing. But for China, the presence of foreign warships so close to its claimed waters is seen as a direct challenge. Scarborough Shoal, located just 120 nautical miles from the Philippine island of Luzon, is one of the flashpoints in the South China Sea. Since 2012, China has maintained effective control over the shoal, preventing Filipino fishermen from entering the rich fishing grounds. Yet under international law, specifically the 2016 Hague Tribunal ruling, the shoal falls within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Now the U.S. Navy, alongside the Philippine Navy and regional allies, has stepped up patrols and exercises in the area. These drills involve advanced warships, surveillance aircraft, and maritime strike capabilities designed to demonstrate interoperability and readiness. The Philippines held joint naval exercises with Australia, Canada, and the U.S. in the South China Sea earlier this week, a move seen as reinforcing security cooperation amid heightened Chinese assertiveness in the contested waters. In a statement on Thursday, the Armed Forces of the Philippines said the drills were held on September 2 to 3 off Zambales province, facing Scarborough Shoal, one of the most volatile flashpoints in the maritime dispute. Exercises included sea logistics, maneuvering drills, and anti-submarine warfare training. It was the 10th multilateral maritime cooperative activity involving the Philippines and its allies, which have consistently supported Manila's maritime claims. Participating assets included the Philippine frigate BRP Jose Rizal, Australian destroyer HMAS Brisbane, Canadian frigate HMCS Ville de Quebec, and a U.S. maritime patrol aircraft. Just days after the successful conclusion of Exercise Alone, the 10th MMCA reaffirms our collective resolve to protect our seas and uphold a rules-based international order, Philippine Military Chief General Romeo S. Brawner, Jr. said in the statement. The exercises came shortly after the Philippines and Australia wrapped up their largest bilateral war games, underscoring closer defense ties between Manila and its partners. China continues to assert sovereignty over nearly all of the South China Sea using its 9-line map, a claim voided by a 2016 United Nations-backed tribunal ruling. Despite the decision, Beijing has expanded its presence across disputed features, including the Spratly Islands and Scarborough Shoal, fueling repeated confrontations with Manila. The Philippine Navy confirmed that Chinese warships monitored the two-day drills. Rear Admiral Roy Vincent T. Trinidad, Navy spokesman for the South China Sea, said a Chinese missile destroyer and a frigate were spotted about 40 nautical miles, 74 kilometers, southeast of Scarborough. They were observed following the International Task Group, he told reporters. However, he noted the Chinese vessels were not conducting synchronized movement typical of joint patrols, rejecting claims from China's Southern Theater Command that its forces were engaged in routine operations at the shoal. Such messages are part of their malign influence operations to justify their illegal presence in the country's exclusive economic zone, Mr. Trinidad said. The Chinese embassy in Manila did not respond to a Viber message seeking comment. China's Southern Theater Command, through spokesman Tian Junli, accused the Philippines of undermining regional stability by holding joint patrols with foreign militaries. Any attempt to stir up trouble in the South China Sea and create tensions is doomed to fail, he was quoted as saying by state-run China Military Online. The Philippines has relied increasingly on multilateral cooperation to bolster maritime defenses, frequently conducting joint patrols and exercises with the U.S., Japan, and other partners. Officials in Manila have argued that such engagements are needed to deter aggression and safeguard sovereignty. China's dispatch of warships to shadow the latest drills coincided with its largest military parade in years on September 3. The timing highlighted Beijing's military reach and willingness to project power even as tensions rise in the region. Chester B. Cabalza, founding president of think tank International Development and Security Cooperation, said the parade underscored the urgency for Manila to accelerate defense upgrades. The parade of weapons is made to poke the U.S. and its allies, he said in a messenger chat. It means that we have to fast-track the alteration of the military modernization program and widen joint naval drills with allies for a deterrence-centered policy. The AFP has repeatedly said it would pursue cooperative activities with like-minded nations to strengthen interoperability, enhance security, and reinforce the Philippines' position in the South China Sea. For the Philippines, the drills carry particular significance. Manila has been strengthening its alliance with Washington, allowing U.S. forces expanded access to bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. The Scarborough Shoal standoff underscores why Manila sees American military presence as essential for its security. Meanwhile, Beijing insists that the South China Sea falls under its sovereignty, despite international law and competing claims from Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines. China has deployed not only warships, but also hundreds of maritime militia vessels, creating a constant presence in disputed waters. The U.S. response has been clear: freedom of navigation operations will continue, and alliances will be reinforced. Pentagon officials emphasize that the Indo-Pacific remains the top strategic priority, with the South China Sea being a critical maritime corridor for global trade. As the drills continue, the world watches closely. Will these tense encounters remain limited to shadowing and standoffs, or could they spiral into something far more dangerous? What's certain is that Scarborough Shoal, once a quiet fishing ground, is now a front line in the struggle for control of the South China Sea and a test of wills between the United States, its allies, and an increasingly assertive China. What do you think about China shadowing U.S. and allied warships during these drills? Is this just posturing or a sign of something bigger on the horizon? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on the South China Sea.